Okay, so I guess it's working. Okay, so this morning I need to talk to you about the scientific objective. A lot of times we think of the parting of the sea, the Red Sea, Jericho's walls falling down, a virgin birth, changing water into wine, the blind seeing, the deaf hearing, and the resurrection of the dead, and we think, of course, as Christians, we believe all those things. But as I've learned through reading this book, there's a lot of people that criticize everything about the Bible, about the order of things that it's put in, different ways John writes compared to Matthew, compared to Luke, compared to Mark. And so the criticism or the objective that I want to talk about today is the scientific objective, which is basically if an event is not regular, repeatable, and predictable, then it probably didn't happen. That's the mindset of the people that object to Scripture through this lens that they use. It's one of the many biblical criticisms and objections to the Scriptures in the last few centuries. To a scientific objector, if either the event can be explained or it didn't happen. The definition of a miracle is an extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention in human affairs and extremely outstanding. Hi, come on in. Extremely outstanding or unusual events or things or accomplishments. So that's the definition of a miracle. Just so you know, I'm doing a presentation for school right now.
Cool.
Okay, and we're being recorded, so have a seat and enjoy it, and it's okay. For many centuries, most people believed in supernatural forces, either God or some other lesser being, angels, demons, whatever. So for many centuries, that no one even really questioned whether the sea parted or anything like that. That was called the pre-modern period, where faith yielded to understanding, and that theology ruled and understanding was put down. Now, many people with scientific minds, like Copernicus and Galileo, because they had scientific minds and they didn't go by faith, they went by understanding, they got put in jail. So there was not necessarily good. And now we know that Copernicus and Galileo, they were both right, that the sun does go, we do circle the sun and it doesn't circle us and all that. However, when the rise of enlightenment in Europe came at around the 17th century, people started thinking, and thinking dramatically changed, and they started questioning the church. And part of that could have also been the printing press was invented in the 1600s. So now people started having things. The one copy that was chained to the pulpit in the church, now there was multiple copies of Scripture in multiple languages, and so they could take it home and read it and pick it apart. And so it started that. Let's see where the scientific objective to the credibility of supernatural, like the miracles in the Bible, is that the discovery of the natural and physical laws by which the universe operates has proven them impossible. So now that we're thinking and we're starting to experiment with things, we're thinking, well, these things aren't possible now because we have natural laws and physical laws and stuff. If you don't understand it, then you probably shouldn't believe it. And philosophical rules started to rule. Philosophy started to rule, and faith was started to be put down. And there's a philosophical objective that actually comes alongside the scientific objective that denies the possibility of a miracle, and it's closely related to the scientific objective. Now there's a Lutheran theologist named Rudolf Bultmann, who tried to take away some of the mysticism of Jesus and the mystical elements of his teaching. So basically, he stripped all the miracles away. And one of his famous quotes is, it is impossible to use electric light and the cordless, and to avail yourselves to modern medical and surgical discoveries, and take at the same time the belief in the New Testament world and the spirits and the miracles. So basically he's saying, if you believe in all this modern stuff, how can you possibly believe in the miracle stuff? That's what he says.
He's a Lutheran theologian?
Yes. And a lot of the scientific objectors really like him because they go to him for all their stuff, like all their backup, This belief is really not in the minds, is what is in the minds of most modern Western people when they discount the possibilities of miracles. As far as they're concerned, the Bible was written by pre-science, in the pre-science age, when natural phenomenons like lightning and thunder and earthquakes were attributed to divine actions. They were very superstitious back then. I particularly remember Martin Luther. There's a really good movie about Martin Luther, and it comes out in the movie that he's very superstitious, and his mom, apparently through reading some history on him, was extremely superstitious. So that's what they're saying. They're saying, oh, it's just a bunch of superstitious people. We now know that there are perfectly natural explanations for these and other phenomena. So they're saying, well, we know that they're not from they're not divine actions. However, most recently, scientists has realized that there is some non-regular, repeatable, and predictable examples in science, like the quantum theory, where the combination of subatomic activity cannot be predicted. So even they're now thinking, okay, either that or they have to accept it as a miracle. So they're trying to realize that not everything is predictable, repeatable, and in that. Many defenders of miracles do not deny the validity of regularity in nature. However, if God is God, then what is to say that he might not occasionally suspend or transcend the otherwise fixed regularities of nature? Norman Geisler, a leading American Christian apologist, says that belief in miracles does not destroy the integrity of scientific methodology, only its sovereignty. It says, in effect, that science does not have sovereign claims to explain every event as natural, but only those that are regular, repeatable, and predictable. So it's basically taking all the power off of science and putting it back on God and saying God can do whatever he wants. And who says that science is more supreme than God is?
I like the transcends word.
Yeah.
Right. Because he can go beyond it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. So basically, in conclusion, I wanted to bring up a book that I love, and you can tell that I love it because it's all messed up. And the pages are falling out and they're taped together, and my daughter, there's different colors in here because my daughter has used it for school projects. I've used it for stuff. And it's basically a tornado in a junkyard, and it's written by this man that was an atheist, and then he got saved, and he was a scientist, and then he decided to figure out what this whole evolution is all about. And he has this fantastic chapter about, it's called Vegas Odds on Life, and it talks about all the different probabilities of things happening. And one of the most important things to remember, that if odds are greater than 1 in 10 to the 50th, then it's effectively impossible. So for instance, if I were to pick something, they would say like this enzyme meeting up with this other enzyme to make this protein compound, it happens less than 1 to the 350th percentile. That is probably pretty impossible. But they still believe that it's true. So I guess in my conclusion, scientists may object to the Bible and what it says, but I think that evolutionists may be accepting more miracles than they think they really are because of what they've done. So.
Even the article